Welcome back to the Schmitter's 100 Acre Woods. So, this video is actually entirely at the homestead. We are approximately a month away from getting the sawmill. So, we're working on getting that site prepped. So, to start with, we have half a dozen trees that need to come down that are either dead or are leaning or in the way of where we want to put the site. So, to start with, we have a couple of sassafras trees, two that are dead and one that's still alive. So just using the tractor here, it's fairly in the open. Have a building behind us, a shed to the right, but there's kind of an opening there for the path that we want this tree to fall. So just using the M62 with the forks on there to push the tree over once he gets it cut. So just making sure that the trees are going the direction we want when we cut them down. This one wasn't big enough for anything for the sawmill, but would be good for the firewood. So drug the firewood piece out. And then everything else is down the path and past the firewood totes under the power lines. At the homestead is a green hole that we have going there. So that's where we are taking all of the treetops to. And the dead trees that aren't worth anything. So here you can see using the 62 to push over trees that are being cut down. So you can see he's using the chainsaw and just using the tractor to make sure that they fall the direction we want them to. There's also quite a bit of dead stuff down in the woods here from some other trees that have died and fallen, so just getting those drug out. Again, most of these are dead, so we're just trying to get them cleaned up. It's something we've needed to do for a while, and will be easier to do now before we get the sawmill in place. So a lot of this is kind of repetitive footage, but kind of gave a overview of kind of where we're at, along with the onboard view from the tractor. So then get some of this pulled out, and anything that we deem to be good for the sawmill, we are cutting into 12-foot lengths to then save, and we'll put log end sealer on it. So we have these three pieces here that I'll put over by the tote that's at the bottom right of the screen. So we just kind of started a pile there that we will save for the sawmill. So that's a dead log along with some other branches that were dead. So got all that stuff drugged back. Here, switching from the forks to the grapple. So we have the 2-lever quick connect on the front of the 62 and the hydraulics hook up. So did that. And headed out back to the green hole to get rid of the treetops and this dead tree that's not worth anything. So if you've watched previous videos about cleaning up some storm damage and stuff, this is where all that kind of debris goes. There's kind of a low spot there that we can stack that. So Dad's in the otter running some of the smaller trees back, and then I was in the 62 getting some of the bigger things picked up. Okay, so got that redbud tree cut down, so there's the two right there. So one of them's a walnut, the other one's a poplar. So right there's the walnut tree that we're going to cut down. It's going to be right in the middle of the pad that we want to pour, so unfortunately we did have to cut it. But there were several good logs in it, so we were able to get 3 12-foot sections out of it that were decent size to be able to use on the sawmill. And again, going back, and before we get that big poplar tree cut down, just doing a little bit of cleanup for stuff that he'd been pulling back with the otter. And had a smallish pine tree there that the bottom started to die out of, so just went ahead and got it cut while we were back there. Okay, so this is the up close look of the walnut tree. So there's those 3 sections we were able to get out. Again, just storing those over there for now. And there was a piece of firewood in it, so wasn't straight enough for the sawmill or big enough. Okay, so here the walnut or the poplar tree here is actually big enough that you didn't really have room behind to be able to push on it. So actually got a cable going there, so headed down the path, got that connected to the M62 so we could make sure to pull it in the direction we wanted. So Dad did a pretty good cut on the downhill side of it and started to cut the backside, and I was able to pull it the rest of the way over. This is about a 24-inch diameter tree, so there was 3 of the 4 sections out of that we're able to get out of for firewood, or for the sawmill. And here's just the look from the 62, getting that pulled down over. And then the top of that tree kind of fell in the path, so got some of that cleaned up, but measured out some of the sections here just to kind of see what we could get out of it as far as the sawmill goes. And then cleaning up the treetop and taking it back to the green hole. That is where the grapple is very handy, where you have these brush piles where you can grab a hold of it and get stuff taken back. So dragging part of the top behind me and have a load in the grapple. So unhooking that and spinning around and pushing everything back in. You can see the sections that we're able to save out of that poplar tree. Again, at the base of it there, we're at about 24 inches, so it should be a pretty decent one we can cut up, and then there's a little bit of firewood in it. So for the sawmill, we're going to put in a 12 by 24 foot building, and it's going to go about where those logs are laying actually. So the sawmill is going to kind of be oriented there, so just getting some of the stuff that's close to it cleaned up and out of the way. So thank you for watching. Catch you next time on the Schmidt's 100 Acre Woods.